Hi, Professor. So today I'm going to be talking about how money and currency worked in ancient Greece and how it developed throughout the ages and throughout the different polis. So to begin, we can look back into Bronze Age Greece, where they were far behind the other places in the world in regards to their economy. So at this time in Greece, there was no monetary system, and instead they would trade goods for goods. Whereas like in other places, they were already starting to use a monetary unit, but in ancient Greece, it was just merely that. So at this time also, it could be said that gold was like valuable to the Mycenaean kings, but they just didn't use it as a form of money. Then the next step in Greece was the use of precious metals as a form of money. So here we can look back into the early Iron Age and the early Archaic period during the late 7th century BC. So this is where like they were first starting to use like a real form of currency, and it was used in Lydia and was known as electrum coins. So the Lydians would pay Greek mercenaries for their service using these coins and then basically trade by doing that. So this can be recognized when Herodotus stated, "So far as we have any knowledge, the Lydians were the first people to introduce the use of gold and silver coins and the first who sold goods by retail." So on my poster here, right there, you can see like what an electric coin kind of looked like. And yeah, that was basically what was first used. So then it is also worth noting that what Lycurgus was doing in Sparta. So part of Lycurgus's reforms was removing gold and silver and making it so that iron was the only form of currency. So this is shown when Plutarch states, "He commanded that all gold and silver should be called in, and only sort of money made of iron should be current, a great weight and great quantity of which was but very little worth. So that to lay up 20 or 30 pounds, there was required a pretty large closet, and to remove it nothing less than a yoke of oxen. For the iron money could not be carried into the rest of Greece, nor had it any value there, but was rather held in ridicule." So in doing this, Lycurgus was basically trying to shift what they wanted from like the economy basically towards more like what the focus was more towards the military. Then during the classical period, which was from 480 to 323 BCE, they began mass production of coins in the bigger Greek polis. So this is a big shift. Depending on the metals used in the production, it meant different values to the coins, as there was a wide variety of coins being produced throughout the various Greek city-states. So like if they were in Athens or like a different poli, they would have like different, so you can see here like what is actually on the coin is like different than compared to what they were doing in each poli, so it would really show like their values that they had in each city. This can be seen in a table also on my poster up there. Kind of shows like what each was worth, like the metals, and each one would kind of have a different worth, like depending on what it was made of. So the critical element in producing these metal coins was minting them. The process of minting refers to the handmade process in designing the coins. So all the coins produced had different symbols, as I just said, and depending on which city they were created in would change that. So this brought variety into the coins and unique features to the various polis. Also on my poster, we can see a map that depicts the main cities that were coining them and minting. These are like where the black dots are, kind of show just like the bigger ones that were really involved in the minting process. And that was at this time in 500 BC, they were really minting like the silver coins. So through the use of money alone, there was a significant impact on the economic development. So for Athens, like really this minting process kind of helped them become a leading Greek city. For one, it was due to the political side of things, and they were like the first city that had democracy. But on the other hand, Athens was minting the most coins, and that helped them take the next step and really get ahead of the other city-states. When talking about money in Greece, another thing we must get an understanding of is how credit works. So in today's world, if somebody needs money, you go to the bank and you can borrow money. However, in ancient Greece, the most frequently used way to borrow money was like through friends and family. You could get a small loan, and then like you wouldn't really have to pay back interest at that time because there was somebody you knew. Whereas like now, if you go to the bank, you're gonna need to pay interest. And they did that. They also did. Their friends and family didn't have the money, they could do it through sanctuaries. So you could go through sanctuaries, and then through that you could get your loan, but that would be through an interest. So in doing this, the Greek polis were able to grow their trade, and like they were kind of one of the first ones to start using like credit and loans, and then that helped them to really get ahead as well, and that played a fundamental role for the Greeks and economic growth as a whole. And then overall, through the progression of money and credit, like ancient Greece was able to have success in their economy, and then just led them to a lot of their successes. Thank you.